Gonna be dealing with the power steering pump on the Square today. It's awful. It's been whining constantly for the last little while, and now it's just giving up the ghost, and I got no assist. It's not great to steer, obviously, with no assist. With 35s to 38s, it's incredibly, insanely hard. So I'm gonna make a video on how to swap this power steering pump out. And again, this pump is for this LS engine. When I order it for 2500 HD with a 6-liter. That's what this engine came out of, so that's what I ordered the power steering pump for. So I just ordered a reman one through my local Napa. It's pump and reservoir. If you want to cheap out a bit, you can just take the pump out of your existing reservoir and just do the little pump piece, but I got the whole shebang this time. You can also get a front pulley that I do not have. I will be pulling this one off. So I'm gonna go through how to do it and some of the tools you're gonna need to do this job. Stay with me. Most power steering pumps and Chevs, you know, it's right there. And you gotta have a special tool to get that pulley off. It's kind of the same like for multiple different Chevs, like being it a 97 or these LSs, or even this, what was in this old small block Chevy. You have this puller. I just have it. This one's a Blue Point puller. I like using it. It wasn't the most expensive kit. I've had it for a trillion years now. I also have this fancier one, the Snap-on. It gets the job done. It has a puller here, and the installer is going to look like, you know, a bearing on it and that, and then you're going to have different ends to thread in. So yeah, that's the kit there. I mean, if you're not doing it full time, I guess Poverty Auto up here in Canada sells all sorts of that kind of stuff, but for me, I run a shop, so I do run a lot of Snap-on. 15 mil to get rid of the belt. LS belts are nice to deal with. They're probably one of the easiest ones you're gonna do out there, in my opinion. Get rid of that. And I usually like to take it right out of the way, because that way you get no oil on it. A good point it being here now, these pulleys are pressed to a certain depth down here. This one is flush. You can use like a veneer caliper and see what your depth is, because it's very important to put that back flush, or be it a little bit out or in, whatever the previous was. That way your belt won't make noise or chirp, so that's very important. So this one, usually I just get away by feel, you know, just touching it, seeing what the depth is. This one feels flush, so I'm just gonna put it back to being flush. So I'm gonna pull that off now with my puller. Okay, here's the puller. It just is gonna clip around that pulley, and then there's a rod that goes in there, and then you just tighten that in, and it's gonna pull that pulley right off. I'm gonna move the camera in, maybe I can get a better shot. Hopefully that's a closer view. I got the tool on there. It just clips around. There's a spot in the pulley to clip around. And here, I'll rotate it over. I got it tight up against. So you just slip it on, thread that in, hold your bar. Now, it's probably gonna take some grunt to get this off. And I got the old trusty air ratchet out here. The Snap-on 3/8, so maybe it will do it. I hope to God it will, because I don't want to ratchet it the whole way. Ooh, okay. Okay, it's off just like that. After the pulley's off, it's nice to deal with the fluid in here. That way you can get rid of it. Either a suction gun, or I got this little vacuum canister thing I use here at the shop. And just get rid of that oil. It's kind of gonna save you some. There's gonna be oil that comes out, but it's kind of just helps with all that. Okay, now it's all empty. There's 3 bolts right on the front of this pump, and they're coated in mud on this truck. And they're 15s. There's one here, one over here and one down and on the front, on the bottom. There's also one down on the side of the block, but we're gonna worry about cracking these 3 loose first, and they're not that bad to do. I'm surprised. I thought they were gonna be C's, but all good to go. Next, there's a 15 mil down on the side of the pump that needs to get undone. So I'm gonna do that now. Just down there, that bolt there, it's also my ground on this truck, but I gotta remove that. That's the one that you gotta remove. That's the only bolt on the back. So we gotta get rid of that. And I gotta disconnect my battery now because I put my ground there. So we're gonna deal with all that. And then it's just the 3 bolts on the front, and that pump's gonna slip out of there hopefully. I like using these swivel snap-ons. Okay, that one was easy. Then we can just set the ground wire. It's gonna be different. I just chose to ground my swap there, so everyone's gonna be different. So then I'm gonna pull up these front bolts here, right on the pump, the other 3, and the pump hopefully should swing out. Now, I don't know how this is gonna go, because obviously being in the Square, it's gonna be a little bit different. I don't know how it's gonna go basically. I'm hoping it all clears and I don't have to do nothing crazy like take the bracket off the engine. So then just these 3, and that should come right out of there. Now for the tricky part, see if the pump's actually gonna come out with that frame in the way. On the stock Chevys where these LS's are in, obviously the frame's different and that all comes out very easy. So we're gonna see if I made a mess or if I didn't. Slides down and comes out, but it doesn't look like it's going to. There's 4 bolts that hold the bracket onto the front of this. One way down here we're going to deal with right now. And then I'm just going to get rid of that one totally. Thinking if we move the bracket, it's going to just make life a lot better. Oh yeah, ready? I don't want to totally drop this bracket off, but I might have to. I don't know why I all got hooked on it. Come on now. Come on! I'll wiggle it up here. Okay. Now it's gonna be easy, I swear to God. If you say easy enough, it helps. So this return line's gotta go, it's just a clamp. And then, like I said, there's going to be a 16 mil nut from this power steering pressure hose. I got the 16 mil somewhere here, and I'm going to get a pair of needle noses. I might crimp this line off. That way I don't get, it's pretty hard. If it leaks a bit, it leaks a bit. Some pliers. Okay, no oil there, that's good. Gave me something to go against. I can also put something in that bracket there to hold it. There we go. And that should come out. Make sure the O-ring doesn't fly off the end of the pressure hose, because it'd be a nice leak to deal with afterwards. It's still there, thankfully. I'll just let that sit like that. Pump's gonna come out. We gotta transfer this bracket over. Got a reman pump, like I said, from Napa. Here's the part number. It's nothing special, you can use whatever. That's just what's here in town and what I'm gonna use today. So if you can just replace this pump piece right in your reservoir here. You can replace just this and keep your original reservoir. It would be a bit cheaper, and it's not much more difficult to do. You basically just take these 2 bolts out, and then this pressure relief valve, you pop that out, and then this is going to pull out of here, and then you're going to put new O-rings, and they supply it all. It's not much difference, this is what they had in town. So that's what I'm using. I'm taking the easy way out, but we're gonna transfer that bracket and those 2 bolts. There are different, you know, sizes of bolts because this is stepped here. Just don't do those brackets. I was gonna take it to the bench, but I can just do it here. It's not much. I don't have to move around. Bracket comes off. Then it's got these 2 different bolts. That's what I was talking about there. You can see the difference. So that one's gonna have to go in that lower one. 18 mil. Put her on the old impact. I'm gonna clean these up too before I stick them back in. So this pump is done. It doesn't come with a cap, so we're gonna have to do that. Also on this one, this 6 liter was a Hydro Boost. So, oh yeah, there's a mess. Okay, the 6 liter was a Hydro Boost, and it has 2 return lines, of course, so I just cap one off, and that's how I do it. It's nothing that special, just a rubber plug and then a hose clamp there. We're gonna plug these out, these little plugs. And then you're just gonna want the flatter one goes in that top piece there. And then the bottom one goes in there too, or the stepped one I should say, goes in that bottom part. Tighten them up. Tighten the Torx back, of course. And that's the way it's gonna go on. Can't really mix it up either way. It's only gonna go on one way. And those go on. Then you're gonna want to do the 15 mil and tighten it up. Torx back. I don't know how many ugly duggers that was, but just using the regular one, so I just block this return and I use this upper one. So I just block it off. And yeah, just make sure it's decently clean in there, that there's no junk. Sometimes from the rebuild, you never know. I don't know, they do ship with some oil in there. Looks pretty decent. I guess depending on where you want your line, that's where you're gonna have it. I like mine pretty much tucked up against the pump. It's nice to have a little bit of a clearance there so your line isn't running into your pump, chafing it. This one never went through. It was pretty close, so we're gonna put it back to the same spot. And I've switched the cap back. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there, you can bend it just slightly off. You just can't win it. Okay, there it goes. It'll be stuck on something else now. Maybe not. Like a glove. Okay, I'm just gonna put this back in here for a second. Actually, let me put it on. Get my ground wire in there. Get that started. Okay. Now the bracket to the pump. Oh yeah, there we go. It's definitely a bit of a struggle. Yeah, that one's started. Clean some of the mud off, I guess. That's all good. check everything with the ratchet. Usually. Okay, so then you just put that up there, and you're gonna select your right tool with your right bearing. You know, this bearing's gonna ride up in there, and these threads are interchangeable. That way you can do like anything forward or dodge or whatever have you that you're doing a power steering pump on. That way that'll push the pulley on, or I guess other GM ones might have came with different threads, but well, that just threads into the center. The threads are going to butt up right against there, and then we're going to bring this all the way down. The install is a bit trickier. The biggest thing too, make sure this piece where you grabbed with your puller is facing out. I myself has started putting it on wrong, seeing people put them on wrong. So you gotta really watch, because you can press them on backwards and they'd be sitting way out, and then they're a real problem to get off. You can pull them off, but usually the pulley might get wrecked. So just make sure you're pressing it on correctly. Okay, it's butted up right against, so I gotta feel, did I go too far, or is it just flush or not enough? Some pullers you gotta watch, because they will pull that right through. It can go a little bit more. It was just super tight. 2.1, you could definitely pull it too far through, yeah. I still got a bit to go. This one might do it too. Okay. Yeah, that feels really good. We're gonna throw that belt on. Power steering fluid and bleed it. If you want to at this time, if you have somebody else, what you can do is you pull this return line off, put it in a canister or whatever, and then you can start filling up your reservoir with clean fluid and just circulate it. And then that helps bleed it out, and also flush the power steering. So since I am alone, I do not, well, I could try to do it myself, I guess. I could just cap that line. I might do it. Alrighty, I'm all rigged up. Usually you want to do this with 2 people. I got this return hose in this bucket here, aka cut off oil jug. I got my power steering pump right full as it can be. So basically what's gonna happen, the pump's gonna suck it through, push it through the box, and then push it in here. I'm gonna try to just do a liter. I'm by myself. This is would be way better if I had a second person here. Nobody's around. I'm at the shop by myself. So if I had to give any advice on this, just 2 people would be awesome. This is how I usually do it but I have another person sitting in the vehicle to shut it on and off. You're gonna want, like, it took me almost a liter to fill that up. I'm gonna try to flush another liter through. So that's technically 2 liters. Depends how clean it's gonna come. You know, there's a lot of factors. I'd say definitely have 2 to 3 liters on hand. Depends how dirty your power steering system is. And so we're gonna flash this up, and I hope that I can make this work. I'm not knowing what to expect. It could be a gong show, so. It's a little bit of a mess, but you get the idea. I think I spilt more than, a little bit there, but at least I got some through. The power steering fluid's looking kind of nice and aerated, of course, because, you know, when you're doing it by yourself. So I'm gonna clean this up and hook the lines up, and then we're gonna fill her back up and go from there. But that's how you flush it, basically. Just make sure you have 2 people. Okay, it's all cleaned up, filled back up. I'm gonna flash it up, steer it a bit. You could also at this time too, you know, just take your steering wheel and rock it side to side before, like, you can lift it up, jack it in the air, and turn it side to side. That really helps bleed him out. I know on some cars we really have to do that, but we're gonna just get this one going and see how it sounds. pump all in there. The reman one is working. It's bled. It's not whining. I did the flush, swapped the pulley, showed you that. So I'm gonna hop in it, drive it. Other things I'm gonna do after the drive, not on film. I'm gonna just double check for leaks and double check that fluid level that we're right good. So I'm gonna hop in it and go for a cruise now.
Okay, we're in the truck. Just take it for a cruise. Just got some fuel. We'll take it for a dig. So far so good. It's nice to have the power steering back. It was definitely a pain trying to move it around. We were just using it around the shop mainly for cardboard. I didn't have too many tow calls this winter. I think only one, so that was nice. It was like a -40 day and the truck died on the highway and we pulled it off with this one, so it didn't do much this winter. It sat around the shop, which was nice. Seems all pretty good right now, so I'm just gonna go for a quick cruise back to the shop. Still kind of mucky in all the back roads. I really don't want to get it too dirty yet. I don't have time to wash it. But yeah, it drives really good. No noise yet. Hopefully no leaks.
Okay, test drive's all done. Power steering seems to be good. I'm gonna check it in the morning and see how it is for level wise, if there's any leaks. I didn't notice anything, didn't smell anything. Again, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.